Hello everyone, welcome to my live stream. My name is Denise Hutchins and I'm broadcasting to you from Studio Mikarts. Our charity of the month is Palomacy, and you can help me help them help the animals by donating to our fundraiser here on Twitch, visiting their website, which I've posted in the chat, or simply by watching my streams and bringing your friends, because I'll be making my own donation at the end of the month based on my unique viewers count. If you enjoy today's stream, please support my creative work by becoming a Twitch subscriber to remove ads and get cute emotes, joining my Patreon for illustrated postcards and prints in the mail, or sending me some creative fuel through Buy Me a Coffee. Links to all these can be found in my Twitch About section. Today is Wednesday, which means it's time for illustration, and I am back to work on my 2025 Christmas card. I know it may seem early because it's not even Halloween yet, but in order to get it done in time, I had to start it last month. So I have already finished these two main gingerbread snowflakes. What I'm working on since yesterday I finished this one. These are little background gingerbread snowflakes, so they're smaller and not as detailed. They're going in the background of the scene. I'd like to show you. So this is the background. Raise the camera up. So this is the background. It's meant to imitate a sort of cool granite countertop, and these will go on top. It's going to be a collage in the end, so it's watercolor, drawing, painting, illustration, collage. This is try not to get any too bright a reflection on there for you, but okay, this is the comp sketch for it. I'm going to move things around a little bit from this, but this is the general idea that we're working towards. So these are my two dogs, which you can see in the puppy cams right now. You can see Aoife's butt on the top, and then you can see Chappie's back and her ears sticking up on the bottom puppy cam. So I'm going to be making gingerbread versions of them, and I think that I'll be able to get to that today because we've got 3 hours of work time, and all I have to do before I move on to them is finish these cookies. So I'm doing all the gingerbreads first. Then there's going to be these little bows. And then once those are done, it will be ready to digitize everything that's going to be digitized so that I can print and cut it out. So I realized that it would be a good idea not to cut the originals for multiple reasons. So these are going to get scanned in and then printed on a thinner paper, so they'll be easier to cut out. And then also, if I mess up while cutting, I can just cut another one. Alright, so I've got those. This, just setting these up here with have my book stand, and so I'm just setting those up. Now, I wanted to get started on time today. I'm happy I did, because I was extremely late yesterday, but in order to actually start the stream on time, I wasn't able to get everything ready that I need. So I'm going to mute my mic for just a few seconds. Let's see, I'm reorganizing my space over here because I need some water. So I'm gonna mute my mic, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I got my nice bowl of water. Other things I have. This is the gouache that I'll be working with. Gouache is an opaque watercolor. And then I also have my towel and a different kind of towel. So I've got everything I need. Watercolor is great because you can just revive it with water next time. It doesn't dry into a useless lump like acrylic does. So, let's see. I'm just gonna wake up. So what I do is take a little water on the brush and you can just wake up the paint like this. So I'm just gonna do that. I don't like holding it over here though because I don't want something bad to happen. I think I might work on this in a different way because I'm left-handed, so it helps to work from right to left. That way I'm not trying to avoid wet paint as I move on from area to area. So I'm going to work on it like this, from right to left and top to down. So it takes a little while, but you can see this is getting nice and fluid. Okay. Let's see if this is enough. I have found that I need to do 2 layers of paint either way, even when it was fresh paint straight out of the tube. So this will probably be good enough. Oh shoot, I don't have my glasses on. Oh, it's because I was rushing. No glasses. Just do my best. They're actually for distance viewing, but I find they do help with my up close viewing too. It's too bad. I'll have to get them on break or something. So I was going to work in a certain direction, but I find it so much easier if I just swirl the paper around anyway. At least this paint dries really fast, so it's not really that big of a deal, whatever way I do it. Alright, that one, I'm going to change my seating position. There. That one is done. But we got to do layer numero 2. Dainime no layer. Second layer of paint. Okay, I'm gonna hit my head on my lamp here. Don't adjust it some more. Okay, boom. Another cookie done. Yay. This part is super fun because I'm not really having to worry about meeting my brain's expectation of what it should look like. I can just start adding lines and keep adding lines really organically. Because I've got the basics down, you know, lines and dots, filling up this space in a kind of snowflake inspired pattern. And it doesn't even have to be very symmetrical, because the idea is not that these are actual snowflakes. The idea is that these are snowflake cookies, and on top of that, the research I did looking up what real snowflakes look like with macro photography, they're not actually perfectly symmetrical either, so it doesn't really matter at all. So I can be really free. And I'm not trying to match the cookies to each other. So this is really fun to just figure out what snowflake cookie icing design I want for each cookie. Oh, I actually connect these two. 3 of them. This one ended up being a lot more complex than I'm going for. But once you put the paint down, that's that. Not taking it back, which is good because then I know what it's like when I can take it back. That's called digital art, and I just keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So it's good to have a limit. Alright, there's another one. Still overall, it looks like a snowflake. Even though it's way more. It looks like a bunch of swords pushed together. It's not as soft and cute looking as the other ones. I'm gonna see about changing my monitor placement. So I want to move this lamp too, but it's behind my secondary monitor. Ooh, sorry if that's super loud or annoying, but it's this big gooseneck lamp, which is awesome, but it's right next to the microphone, so sorry if that's super loud. Okay, so I've got to change my monitor. I also need to move this because I'm knocking it down. Ah. Had to move my little Vocaloid figures today, and I knocked it down a little bit when I was getting ready. Come on, Luca. Why won't you stand up? This is a very ill-designed. It's an Android, very poorly designed stand for her because she will not stand up. She will not stay standing up. She always falls backwards. Okay. I moved her legs and that seemed to help. Okay, now I'm putting this lid back on this case for them. I knocked the lid off when I was moving my monitor to get ready for the stream. Okay. Move this over here for now. Oh, Miku fell down. Oh well. Well, I guess since she fell down, I'll just show you what I'm doing. I'm moving this. Oh, I can't show you. Oh well. Just going to set this over here, and I'll deal with it later. Just in the way of me trying to get my monitor where I can actually see it. Okay, boom. Move that stuff. Now, my monitor's like this. Can I still see everything? Oops, turn my light off. Okay. Oh, that's much better. Now that I have the lamp closer, I think I can even show you because it's... Here's lamp number 1 and lamp number 2. So now they're much closer to the page, which means much brighter. Okay, I'm gonna get a drink of my yummy turmeric ginger tea. Ooh, spicy. That's all that's in there. Turmeric, oh, and meadow sweet? I don't know what that is, but that's in there too. Turmeric, ginger, and meadow sweet. Okay, next cookie. Oh, Chappie. Don't bark. Alright, I'm gonna let her out. Because she's a barking. Out you go. She loves barking. She was so quiet when we first got her, but now she's super confident in her home. So she barks at everything. And then she's all sad when she can't come back in here because she barks at everything, but she's very polite when it comes to physical boundaries, like doorways and things that are physically blocking her from going somewhere. She won't just push through it like Aoife will. So she won't come back in after she's done barking out there because she's not willing to push the door open with her nose, even if it's unlatched. So then when I go out, she's all sad, waiting. But it's her choice. Go out and bark, or stay in and be peaceful. Okay, another cookie done. Trying to make these all a little bit different from each other. I think I've succeeded. These seem all quite different. Hold it up close so you can see what we've done so far. I love the little dots, so for these last few I've been trying to use more lines. But the dots are the cutest, so I'm going to go back to dots for this next one. I've got so many still left to make. What I might do is line, line, fill this little area with lines, then do dots. tried to make it a little different by changing the size. So I have a lot of dots in this one, but I made some bigger and kept some smaller. So there's some variety in there. Next one, it's the last one of this first batch, because these two batches are the same shapes that I traced. So almost halfway done. Okay, next layer, and then this sixth cookie will be done. Second layer of paint. Well, second layer of gouache. There's multiple layers of watercolor under this. 6 complete. Yay! I'm gonna stretch for a minute. My back is really bugging me today. I can't wait until the hour mark. I've gotta stretch. Stretch my back out. I keep changing position in my chair, but it's not helping. Ooh, hit my head. Okay, let's twist the back too. Reach down and grab my ankles and stretch my back out that way. Let's stretch it with some twisting. Okay, other way. Whew, really congested today too. Again, like yesterday. Okay, now I'm stretching by holding my knee really high up to my chest so that it'll stretch the back part of my posterior chain. I've been hearing that term a lot from the run hike training series I'm doing on iFit. It's constantly talking about strengthening the posterior chain through hiking. So I'm stretching that right now. Hopefully that will help. Okay. Hopefully that'll get me through the next half hour. If not, I might have to take my break a little early. Because something else I do, it's kind of a passive stretching, is just lay down flat on the floor. Not this floor because it's hard wood, but go into the other room and lay on the carpet. Alright, I gotta blow my nose to try to relieve some of this congestion, so I'm gonna mute my mic. Okay, I'm back. I have a sip of tea. And back to work. Painting cookies. Dang, this tea is so strong. This is my first time trying it. It's very, very strong. It'd be good with a meal because it's turmeric and ginger, so it's very curry-ish. So, quite a savory tea. Actually, I wanted to show you what I've done so far. So here are the patterns on these cookies so far. So let's do some more. Actually, let's put some lip balm on first. This yummy pistachio one. Crazy Rumors. So yummy. I did not expect it to be so yummy. I like pistachios. I don't love them. But this is so, it's like really creamy and sweet and yummy. I guess it's not pistachio. It's sweetened pistachio is the flavor. I've found that recently. I think a lot of times when folks say they like something, what they like is the dessert version of it. Like for me, I've always thought white chocolate chip macadamia nut cookies were yummy. They're not my favorite or anything, but I thought they were good, and so many people are obsessed with them. Like that's their favorite cookie. So I've been getting just macadamia nuts. I've been trying to eat whole nuts recently because
I've learned how healthy they are. Whole raw, because if you cook them, it increases their AGEs, which are aging. It's like something end products. I can't remember what it stands for, but it's basically causes aging, cellular aging, and so they increase quite a bit when you cook stuff that's high in protein and fat. And guess what? Nuts are high in protein and fat. So you've been getting the raw nuts whole, because that helps with satiety and with keeping, even though nuts are high in calories, if you eat them whole, some of those calories stay trapped inside the cell walls. So I'm still working on my body composition, so that seems like a good thing for me to do. But what I'm getting at is that I don't really like macadamia nuts. Like plain old raw macadamia nuts, I don't really like them. They don't taste bad exactly, but they don't taste good either. Not like pecans. Like pecans, I've discovered ever since I started eating the whole raw nuts, pecans are my favorite. So good. I could eat a whole bag of them. They're just so yummy. So when I think about that, thinking about my pistachio lip balm, and raw pistachios are good. I like those too, but they're not like macadamia nuts where I'm like, ugh, I don't really like these. This kind of tastes like sawdust. They're not like that. But yeah, I feel like it's kind of like with certain classic books, and I'm always thinking of Les Miserables, and everybody on Goodreads or whatever is giving Les Miserables the book 5 stars. And I tried reading it, and it's so boring, and it's just all over the place. I can't keep track of the characters because suddenly it's just talking about like the narrator's opinion on war or something. It's like, where'd the story go? So I feel like everybody is giving it 5 stars because they like the musical. And I don't think that's fair because the book is not the musical. It's very different. And I don't think it deserves 5 stars. And it shouldn't get a pass just because it's old either. Because after I read that, I got sort of jaded. And I was like, oh no, if I read any more classic books, they're going to be all crap. Because they're old. But no, a contemporary, or at least I believe so. I want to double check. But I believe, so Victor Hugo is the one who wrote Les Miserables. And I'm just going to ask, are Victor Hugo and Alexandre Dumas contemporaries? I spelled out Alexandre wrong. Put an E. Yes. Holy I almost said something worse. Holy crap. Not only are they contemporaries, they were both born in 1802. Active during the 19th century French Romanticism movement. So what I'm getting at is I was jaded by Les Miserables. I thought that when I read any other of these, especially these French books, I don't know, I should have known better, because just because someone's born in the same year or is from the same country doesn't mean they're going to write the same. But I was just afraid. And so when I read The Count of Monte Cristo, which is not by Victor Hugo, it's by Alexandre Dumas, it was awesome and it delivered. It was as good as any adaptation I have seen. In fact, it was better because there was more details and it was longer. So I got to stay in the world for longer and be with Edmund for longer and everything. And what is his name? Edmund? His name is Edmund. Huh. Well, anyway, he becomes the Count of Monte Cristo. The point is, I was afraid because Les Miserables was... Well, you know what? I guess it lived up to its name. It was Les Miserables. It was miserable. And I really tried to read that book. I read chapters longer than the point at which I was like, ugh. I just kept trying. I was like, it's gotta get better. Everybody gives it 5 stars. Well, they're undeserved 5 stars, in my opinion. So I feel like it's the same thing with the nuts. The nuts are not being judged on their own properties. They're being judged on how do they taste when they're mixed in with a bunch of flour and sugar and oil and made into a cookie. At least with the macadamia nuts. I don't know. The other people like macadamia nuts even raw. And maybe other people honestly think Les Miserables deserves 5 stars. I mean, it was obviously good enough to make into a musical, an incredibly popular, one of the most popular musicals or even stage performances of all time, probably. So, I don't know. I don't really have a point. I just think it's interesting. I think about that kind of stuff sometimes. I think I'm just going to leave this one like this. I think it's nice. It's nice and simple. I don't need to make it even more complex than that. Let's just keep it simple. I wanted these to be more simple than the main cookies anyway, so it's good. Alright, I gotta blow my nose again. Hope this congestion goes away. It's kind of frustrating. Okay, I'm back again. Yay. Back to painting and painting some more cookies. Big sigh from Aoife just now. It's excellent that I'm not having to go out of my way to make each of these cookies different. I'm not trying that hard to remember what I already did or anything like that. It's just like the possibilities are endless, so I don't even have to try hard to keep coming up with new patterns. Man, when I'm done with this, I might have to bake some cookies. I don't mean today. I mean when I'm done with this project. 'Cause this looks so yummy. All my little painted cookies look so yummy. Stretching did help my back a little bit. It's still complaining, but it's definitely better than before I took that extra stretching break. So when break time proper arrives in about 10 minutes, I'm gonna go in the other room and just lay on the floor. So that's the best thing I can do to take pressure off my back, because standing up, it changes the way the pressure is on my back, but it doesn't take the pressure off my back. Sitting down doesn't take pressure off my back. But laying on my stomach or on my back takes it off. So it's really nice. I don't out of water in here. I'm going to add a bunch of water to my pellet. Look how cool these little swirls in my water look. I love that. I'm going to do another one. Ooh! It's so fun. It's a little bonus. It's already fun enough to create using paint. And then it's just this extra fun bonus too. See the paint swirling around in the water. Making these little dots bigger. They have a lot more space to be. These are looking nice and different from each other. These are this one, for instance, that I just finished, was traced from the same original shape as this one, but they look totally different. Same thing with this one and this one. So I'm quite happy about that because I want them to look like all different ones. I had been considering just using Photoshop to duplicate these in order to get a lot of cookies in the background. But I kept thinking about how when people do that, and I've seen it in books. One that I think of is this Harry Potter Christmas book. It's illustrated. Came out a year or two ago, and it's part of my Christmas book collection now. But the artist clearly just replicated certain elements digitally, and to me, it's very obvious. So it's distracting, and I don't want that to happen in my work. So I decided to hand paint each one. So I like making art that when I look at it again in future years, I still love it. And I've figured out the formula for that. The number one ingredient is time. I have to take the time to do it. I have to give myself the time to do it. And if I do, then I'm always super pleased with the result. I was just thinking about it today because Patreon introduced an updated layout for pages for your page if you are a Patreon creator, as I am. And so I was finally going in there and updating to the new one, which required a lot of I had to redo a bunch of my images because they made the minimum size way bigger than it used to be, like way bigger. So I was in there redoing this banner image and my avatar image. And all of those things, I try to keep them as the same across platforms so that when people visit me various places online, they'll know that it's me because it's the same images. So, yeah, it's obvious that it's me. And the image I use and have been using for many years is my Kiki Pie illustration that I made to be a Thanksgiving greeting card in 2018 or 19, I can't remember. Either way, long enough ago, like well over 5 years ago. And I was looking at it today, and I still love it. I love everything about it, even though it's that old. I don't feel like it's lacking or, wow, I've really improved since then or something. Even though I have, I'm just saying that I put so much effort and allowed myself the time to make a really good piece that it kind of stands the test of time. So, since I have the freedom to do so, that's what I try to do with all my work. I'm actually very grateful to not be doing illustration that requires a really, really tight turnaround time. You know, folks who do illustrations for magazines and newspapers and stuff, they've got like a week to get something done. That's just not. Even with books, and books take forever to make, but even their timelines are still so short that I don't feel like I'd be able to make my best work if I was trying to illustrate someone else's book. And that's why all my book projects take forever, but it's okay. I feel fine about it, especially after reading a book called The Art of Slow Writing. Can't see the author, but I'm looking right at it on my shelf. Oh, I think it's Louise de Salvo. That book made me feel really good about taking my time. I'm also super grateful to my patrons because I realized that in order to get them the kind of work that I want to send them, I needed more time. And this year, I asked if they would be all right with me going to quarterly instead of monthly rewards, and everybody who responded anyway said they were. And so that has been a huge relief. And makes me feel even more excited about creating my work because I know what I'll be sending them is some really super good stuff rather than smaller, faster projects just to meet a deadline. Alright, round 2 on this one. And then there's only 3 more cookies left. Oh, we're right on time for break time, but let me finish this one so I don't have to think about it when we come back. I'll know I can just get going on the next blank cookie. Yay! Alright, before I go on break, I'll hold these up closer so you can see the details of the 3 that I've just finished. So there's this one. Definitely the most simple one. Maybe next to this one. The most simple one so far. And then this one. And then this one that I just finished. And I put those extra little tips on the bigger lines because I realized it looked kind of like a spider web. That's not, even though it is almost Halloween and I love Halloween, that's not the look I'm going for. So okay, alrighty y'all, let's take a nice 5-minute break. I encourage everyone to take this opportunity to get stretched and refreshed. I'm going to put my be right back sign on and be back in about 5 minutes. everyone, I'm back! Finally, I didn't mean to take so long, but when I left my studio, I realized I was super hungry. So, I didn't eat it yet, but I prepared myself some delicious ramen. Yummy! With some kimchi on top, but it's way too hot to eat still, so I'm gonna just let it sit there and cool. And once it's cool, I'll take another break so I can eat it. But in the meantime, while it's cooling, may as well continue painting. My paint is all dry now after 10 minutes. Let's wake it back up. All right. Next cookie. Oh, this one ends up looking very icy. I'm trying to make the ends of each line relatively round, as if it came from a icing piping tip. I'm also trying to make the thicknesses of each line relatively stable for the same reason, so that it'll look like it came from a piping bag. Can't wait to eat my ramen once it's cooled down from boiling. Whoops. So excited about my ramen, I made a little mark that I didn't mean to. Well, I'll just let it be, and if it's really bothering me, I can fix it in Photoshop. Or should I leave that like that or add some extra lines? I don't like the idea of, let's try connecting them. that makes an interesting shape. I think I'm not getting enough pigment on my brush because I've done several layers and I'm still getting this translucent effect. Hopefully that'll be good. Let this dry and then we'll take a look at it in a minute. My little nub of gouache is getting pretty small. You can see that little bump right there. I think it was twice as big when we started today. That's still wet, so there's no point in putting the next layer of paint on it. That one got done so fast. So let's move on to the next one, then we'll see if it needs more paint after it's dry.
feel like that looks a little too starburst-like rather than snowflake, so I'm going to connect these. If I do it like this. Yeah, that looks more like a snowflake. Okay, let's finish off the second layer on these. And then I'm going to take a little break to actually eat my ramen that I made. Well, it doesn't really feel like I need a second layer on this one, so well, I won't do one. Doesn't need it. Doesn't need it. Yay! All the cookies are done. Let me hold them up. I'll do a look at all of them. I think I managed to make each one unique as far as its icing pattern. Okay, I'm going to leave this here for a sec. My ramen is calling to me, so I'm going to take another little break just to eat that. And I will be back when I'm done.
Hello everyone, I'm back. I finished up my ramen, my tummy is full, and I'm ready to get back to work. Normally I try to have a big enough lunch before stream that I'm not hungry, but I had a medium lunch and I was full. But that meant I got hungry by now. Not hungry anymore though. Okay, so we're done with the snowflakes, with all of the snowflakes. These two big main ones and these 12 little ones. They're all going up here because next we're going to work on the gingerbread pups. So these two shapes. And what I've realized is that I need some tracing paper in order to figure out how big they should be. Let's see, where's my tracing paper? Here we go. Nice sheet of tracing paper. Glad I checked. I almost always grab 2 sheets instead of 1, and indeed I thought I had 1, but I double checked and I had 2. Alright, got it. Yay, it's so satisfying when you can pull it out without ripping it off of those gummed paper pads. Okay, got some tracing paper. And I need some tape to tape it in place. Oh, artist tape or maybe just a little masking tape. I'll use artist tape. I'm going to back way out for this. So, I set this up so I can see what I'm trying to make. So I've got that so I can see it. Make it straight. And then, these I don't need right now, so I'm just going to set them off to the side. So they're out of the way. What I want to do is tape this tracing paper onto my background here so that I can then figure out how big to draw the gingerbread pups. So I'm going to try to center this because that can throw me off if it's not centered. Alright, doesn't have to be perfect, but as close as I can get it. Now just need some masking tape. I think I'll just tape the 2 top corners. I love these little MT tape things I got. So they have a little spinning bar right here. So it's this little plastic thing and it's got some plastic teeth there and then you can rip it off straight. It's so nice. Came in a multi-pack, so I have several different tapes with several different sizes of these on. Okay. Next, I am going to... Oh, how can I reach it? My water is in the way. Okay, move my water. Get my sketch kit out. Yay! So I'm gonna take my, is this a gray one or is this the black one? This one's gray. I'm taking my big gray fine liner out of my sketch kit. I'm going to mark the edges really roughly, I'm not even using a straight edge or anything, because it doesn't matter that much. I just need to see the general size of the paper. Okay, and now I'm going to get a ruler so I can mark the halfway point, because that's where it's going to fold when it's a greeting card. So it's a 10 by 7 illustration, but it's going to be a 5 by 7 half fold greeting card when it's done. I'm going to mark it at 5-inch mark at the top and the bottom. And then line this up. I saw my tea when I set my ruler down. It's time to have some. Okay, so now what am I trying to figure out? Okay, I'm going to get another sheet of tracing paper. Too bad I don't have a little one. It seems such a waste to do a big one. But I don't think I have a little teeny tiny tracing paper. So it's just gonna have to be a big one. What I want to do is trace these cookies. Just the big ones. The little ones we'll just figure out where they fit in there, but the big ones, one who remember how big they are, so that I can plan the size of the pups with these in mind as well. There's one. So just have them the same distance they are on the watercolor sheet. And the precision in the tracing is not necessary for this, because all I really need to know is how much space is it going to take up. Alright, with that done, I'm going to cut these out. Set this tracing paper over here. Use it for something else. Some other project someday, or maybe this if I need it. I don't need it right now. Okay. It's hard to grab them.
know which cookie goes with who. I made them pretty much the same size on purpose. This one is more blunt, sort of blunt and bulky. This one's a little bit more thin. Here's the difference. So maybe this one would go with Aoife, because she's a bit more blunt and bulky dog, even as a cookie, and Chappie is a little bit more thin kind of cookie shapes. So we'll do opposites with them. Since Aoife cookie will be taking up lots more room, so we'll have her snowflake cookie be taking up a little less room. So even though they're taking up the same size as far as where the points land, this one's taking up more area because of the way the angles are farther out. Well, I don't know if I'm explaining that well, but okay, so we do them on these sides, and Aoife's was gonna just kind of be balancing her cookie. Kind of like the idea of putting it at the 3/4 mark, or not 3/4, the 1/3 mark. Let me see if I can figure that out. Oh, I'm being rated! Wow! Welcome, everyone. Oh, just Freebird. Long time no see. How are you? Hello, everyone. Welcome, Raiders. I was like in the middle of thinking, and then suddenly stuff is happening. How are you? Thank you so much for rating me today. Let me do my little blurb for anyone who isn't familiar with my channel. My name is Denise Mika Hutchins. I work from Studio Mikarts, and today we are working on my 2025 Christmas card. Yes, I had to start it very early in order to get it done in time. This is the comp sketch for it. This is what we're working towards. And what I just finished on this stream are these little tiny cookies, gingerbread cookies. They're actually watercolor and gouache. And I finished these last week. And now we're working on creating the gingerbread pups. We are also currently fundraising for Palomacy, so please donate if you can. And if you enjoy the stream, you can support my work by becoming a Twitch subscriber, signing up on Patreon, or sending a tip through Buy Me a Coffee. All right, blurb over. Let's see. Just Freebird's doing good. Yay, always glad to hear it. Lil MIA. Oh, that's okay. I've had so few viewers recently. I'm not trying to do a sob story or anything, but I'm just saying I had so few viewers that I'm just not rating people because there's no point when it's just me. So, oh, holy crap. Oh, I'm so sorry to see that. You broke your ankle. Oh, I hope it's healing all right. I hope it was, like a clean break. Like if you're going to break your ankle, I hope that it was the best kind where, not a bunch of little tiny bits or something, but well, whatever it was, I hope that you heal quickly. Sending you healing vibes. Oh, I'm glad that you're able to get back into the swing of things, though. That's a good sign. So I'm very sorry to hear that news, but glad to hear the positive side of it. Bjorn and Cookie. Those gingerbreads are looking crisp. Thank you. Yay. Yeah, we're going to make the gingerbread pups, and they're going to be even further iced. I'll show you I got some reference images collected here to give me an idea of what I can do. So here's my 3 just randomly off the internet kind of frosted gingerbread cookie ideas. So here's look at how cute that is. and these ones too. So I'm going to try to create a frosted gingerbread cookie look using water. I'm actually using watercolor pencils. Here's one of the trays of woodless watercolor pencils by Arteza. I received them as a Christmas gift last year. I'm finally using them on this project. The fox, yeah, isn't he so cute? So cute. Definitely being inspired by that one. Especially, both of my pups have brown fur. Chappie is a black and tan, so she's got the brown fur on mostly on her face, and then Eva is almost all like brown. Her ears are just darker brown. So I'm definitely gonna let this gingerbread color come through, and I've got it mapped out so I remember what colors I used. So yeah, that's what we're working on today. Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you everybody for joining me today. What I'm figuring out at the moment is the placement of the cookies, of the pup cookies. The pookies? So that I can draw them the right size. I traced those big cookies that are going to be floating or about to be eaten by them. I'm trying to figure out the placement. And what I thought would be nice is to do the rule of thirds on these and place the cookies based on that. It's kind of hard though because 5 doesn't divide into 3 easily, so I think I'm going to have to eyeball it. Let me do a little bit of calculation. I think it's like 1 point, so we'll just do 5 divided by 3. Yeah, 1.66. So it's a little bit more than 1.5, but not as much as 1.75. So we'll just, it doesn't have to be perfect. We'll just put it like right here. It's hitting 1. So here's 1.5 and 1.75. So we'll put it in the middle. Good enough. We're just figuring out the general placement. Love the idea of gingerbread snowflake cookies. I was so happy lots of people have done them, so I was able to get lots of, I want to show you, because I don't want to take all the credit. I had so many people making these beautiful, beautiful, like, look at these ones are insane. And just, like, I was able to get lots of ideas. I also found some macro photography people had done so that I could use my own ideas too. What snowflakes actually look like in real life rather than just someone else's stylization. So snowflakes all done, but there's still so much to do, so I'm glad I started this in September. I actually started my Christmas card in September because I knew if I wanted to make something that I'm really satisfied with, that's just how much time I'm gonna need. I don't think I asked. Just Freebird, how did your stream go? Did you have fun? What were you working on? Or were you playing a game? Or watching a show? Or reading a book? Or just chilling out? There's so many things you can do on stream. Oh, this didn't really mark all the way down to the bottom. Come on, pen. You can do it. There. I think the pen doesn't like the texture of the watercolor paper, even though what I'm drawing on is not watercolor paper, it's tracing paper, but it's still like, no, I don't know how to deal with this. Okay, I'm going to do it on this side too. Divide it into 3 for the rule of thirds. Over here 2, so 1.5, and in between 1.5 and 1.25. 1.5, and on top. Right now I'm working in a 10 by 7 format, but it's going to become 5 by 7 once I fold the card. So this will be the fold down the middle. Oh, you can't even see it. So there's this line here in the middle so that I know where the middle is. Ah! One of my snowflakes fell down. Well, not one of the snowflakes. One of my snowflake tracings. Okay, almost done. Sometimes stuff like this is, you think, wow, this would be so much easier if we were just doing it digitally. You can just tell Photoshop to create this grid. Don't have to do measuring and calculations. But
the actual media stuff, I much prefer the physical media. So that's why I go to all this trouble. Sleepy pup. Which one? Chappie with her belly? Or Aoife? They're both so sleepy. Okay, I've got to move this down for a second. 7. Let's do the calculation. What's 7 divided into 3? 2.3-ish. 2.3 ad infinitum. So we'll do the same thing. It's not quite 2.25. It's not quite 2.5. We'll just set it in the middle and that'll be good enough. So 2.25 and then this one. This is nice because then you'll have to do it twice. And we'll just cross it all the way across. So 1, 2.5, and another half. So 1, 2.5. Well, not half, a quarter. Anyway. Oh, Bjorn and Cookie's gotta go. That's okay. Sleep is my number one thing, so I completely understand if you gotta go to bed. I support you 100%. You gotta get that sleep. It supports everything else you do in life. So thank you so much for joining me. Goodbye. Thank you for rating, Bjorn. Hope to see you again sometime. Okay. Thirds in this direction. And thirds in this direction. I was not thinking I'd need this, but when I saw how the cookie looked, when I set it there, up in this corner, seemed like a good idea. The cork on the back of my ruler is coming off. Every time I use it, there's always like a little piece of cork left. Okay, so we're putting the little bit more elegant cookie on this side. I could, if I put it right at the meeting of this line and this line, it ends up here. But that doesn't leave too much room for Aoife, since we've got this little decorative bow we're going to make as well. So I think I am going to do what I've got up here, which is push it toward the top, but I'll still keep it on this third line. So we'll put it right here. We could have it coming this way, but I really like the idea of it coming down like this, because it's meeting so delicately Aoife Cookie's nose. I even drew it that way too. Just like, bing, like a little cookie ballerina landing gently and elegantly. So let's do it like that. I don't know which one is better to... I kind of like this one sticking up. Okay. But we do want to give it a little bit of space between the top edge. The top edge is about here. So I think this is a nice point. It actually... This little bottom part is right at that meeting point here. So that would be cool, because then Aoife's nose would end up being right here too at this point. So I'm going to tape this down here so that I can keep it in mind as I'm sketching. We're not even sketching, just mapping out the size of the cookie pups. That was going to be way too big of a tape. I don't need that big of a tape. So just a little tape. Okay, so put it right here. I wonder if maybe this one would be better. Maybe this one would be better. Ah, it doesn't really matter that much. I dropped my tape. Okay. There. So
So that's about where I'll have that cookie. Now the chappy cookie, we need room for the bow at the top. And then she's going to be having her mouth open. So that kind of changes where I want to put the cookie. So we'll put it a little lower, I think. You know, like right there. Although that cookie, they've got the same diameter, but this one seems so much bigger. It seems like it's too big, but I think we'll put it right here. We are going to put this one right at this crossroads right here, right at this intersection. Okay. Don't get too big of a tape, me. Okay. Now I have my cookies placed. So, what am I gonna draw? I'm not going to draw the final cookies on this sheet. This is just to map stuff out and figure out how big it is. I'll draw the more precise drawings probably in my sketchbook or something. But I want to figure out the placement of the bows. Do I want to do the bows first or do the pups first? It's hard to decide. Get a little drink of tea. So this is what I'm looking at. It's this one I think that is making me wonder which one should I work on first. Ifa first or bow first? Because the bow cuts the Ifa cookie off. There's no Ifa cookie beyond the bow, so it's kind of a framing element. Let's just do the bows first. They're simpler. The bows are simpler. Could even use these to help place the bows. Oh, the laundry's done. Yay. Well, maybe I will take another break. It's actually past break time. But I took that long break half an hour ago, so I wasn't going to take another break so soon. But the laundry just got done, so it would be great if I can go put it in the dryer. I think I'll do that. I'm going to take just a couple minutes break so I can put my... It's actually the pigeons' towels, because I lined their apartment with towels, and so it's a pigeon laundry day. I'm going to put my be right back sign on. I will be back in just a few minutes.
Hello everyone, I'm back. I hope you had a great break. I am all done with my laundry. Takes a little while. It's not just putting the pigeon towels into the dryer. I've got to vacuum up all the seeds that come out because they don't eat all of their seeds. There's certain seeds they don't like. So when I pull them out of the washer, there's all these seeds come out on the ground, so then I have to sweep or vacuum it up. But I'm all done. Oh. Is that Aoife trying to come back in? Oh, no. Chappie stayed in here, as you can see, but Aoife left. She'll probably come back later, though. Okay, so I've got the lines added to... sorry, you can't really see what I'm doing at all because it's gray on gray. But you can kind of see this line here and up here. That's where I imagine I'll put the bows. And if the cookies are here, I'm just going to say, got like Aoife's nose is about here. And then we have her coming down about here. Touching the bow about here. Oh wow, it's a lot bigger than I thought it would be. So just something like this size. Something like this. And of course, since I'm not going to be cutting the originals to do the collage part, I can adjust the size a little bit before I print it onto the inkjet art paper. So if they end up too big or a little too small, I doubt it'll be too small because I always scan in at 600 DPI, which is twice what you need for a decent print at native size. So anyway, about this size. Figured out. Bow taking up about this much space. Aoife cookie taking up about this much space. Now the Chappie cookie, I had some notes here for myself. Move her away from the edge and draw her more, looking more straight up, receiving the cookie from more straight up. And yeah, those are the two notes about Chappie cookie. So Chappie cookie, she's smaller. What I didn't want was her ear. In the comp sketch, it ended up getting cut off. We don't want that. That's why we want to scoot her over a bit. So if we have her mouth open like this to receive le cookie. Seems a bit too big. It's like the same size as Aoife. She needs to be smaller. The snowflake is so big. I feel like her hair's just gonna get cut off either way. Okay, let's do it even farther under the cookie. Okay. Alright, I think I figured it out. Man, this pen does not want to draw. Gotta get something else. It does not want to draw on this paper. What else have I got? I don't want it to be too dark though. Oh, just some graphite. Just use some graphite. There we go. I think I figured it out. Yay!
Now, put this in my sketchbook. My sketchbook here. New page, I think. I think I've used everything else up. Oh, here comes Aoife. Hello. Hello, puppy. She came over to get her head scratched from me first. Okay, go get in your bed. Big yawn. You can't see it. She did a big yawn. Oh, you can see her face now. Go get in your bed, girl. Now, how am I gonna get these on here? Okay, we'll do. Oh, she just made me yawn. We're going to use my classic tracing technique. So we're done with this background painting for now. Set this back up here. Move these tapes. Whenever I have tapes like these and I just taking them off because I don't need them anymore, I'll put them back on the roll so that I can use them again later. Alright, so what I want to do is transfer this onto my sketchbook page, and how I'm going to do that is flip it over, and then let's see if I have. I used to have it. Good, I do. This little packet has what I need. I put it in this little paper because it's messy, but it's specifically for this technique, which is to take this huge graphite crayon and draw on the back so anywhere you want to transfer the line on the back of the page, you draw. So you want to put the graphite on there, and then it's going to transfer down onto the page below. So I don't need to transfer everything, just the overall shape for the bows and the puppy cookies. You can actually use this technique to create your own tracing paper if you cover the entire side of a tracing sheet or anything. It doesn't have to be tracing. People like to use tracing paper, but you can do it with any kind of paper. I've done it with like a really big piece of drawing paper. And then you can just use it as a tracing paper for anything. I have liked using the big one that I made where I did the whole side of it for really big works. But for little stuff like this, there's no need to get that out. This is easier. Okay. And I also have this blending stump, which I use to make sure that the graphite is rubbed into the paper and also evenly distributed, or as much as possible.
You can also do this with charcoal, but it's way more messy, and I don't like messy material, so that's why I choose graphite. Charcoal can be preferable if you want to ensure, so say you're doing this and you're transferring directly onto your final canvas or paper for painting, and you're just going to paint right over the lines. You want to make sure that those lines disappear. If you're using a translucent media, the charcoal is a little more likely to get blended in. Meanwhile, the graphite might stand out even when you paint over it. That doesn't bother me though, because I always do everything with an outline anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Okay. Oh wait, there's this corner up here. Not K. Almost done though. Oh, I didn't notice. Thank you, Sun Cup, for following me 31 minutes ago. I appreciate it. Okay, now I'm going to wrap this stuff back up. I didn't used to have it wrapped up in this paper, and then I noticed that it was getting graphite all over my stuff. So I decided to protect the rest of the things in my sketch kit. Oh, that's why, because it's too far down on this side. Okay, and rubber band it. And back it goes. It's been so long since I've used these items. Okay, next step. Well, actually, next step for me is, just in case there's still a little bit of stray graphite. Oh, if I could pull my trash can over. I like to use my swipey brush to swipe the last remaining particles into the trash. I don't like getting unwanted smudges on stuff. Oh look, I already transferred some just by doing this. Because I used graphite on this side. So it's already gotten transferred. Oh, you can barely tell, but here it is. It's funny. Okay. So now you flip it back over. And I shall use one of these tapes again. Tape it into place. And you can take whatever you want. I like to use... Well, where is it? Where's my pen? My pen is gone. Oh, I know where it is. I moved it. Alright. There's a pen I like to use. I'll just get a different pen. I like to use a ballpoint pen, preferably in a not gray or black, kind of like in a color ink. That way I can tell where I've drawn already. So I'll use this one. So as I put pressure on this tracing paper, it should be pushing, there, the graphite. You can barely see it, but there's that triangle I just made. So it pushes the graphite onto the page. But since I rubbed it into the page, it doesn't transfer a bunch of extra stuff, just the part that I draw with. Let's do it. Here's two. It's nice. Usually when I use this technique, I'm tracing the final lines onto the final sheet of paper, so I'm trying to be super accurate and careful. This is just a guideline, so I could do it really fast and easy. It's so unusual. Yay! So now I can untape it. Actually, wonder if that other tracing paper, it's a leftover bit, I wonder if it's big enough to cover. Ah, it's just barely not. If I do it this way? No. Dang. Well, it covers it part way. Oh, if I cut this part out, then I can cover that. Yay! So that when I store this, it's not going to get graphite everywhere. Where's my scissors? How high up should I cut? Okay, so I'm going to use these tapes. I was going to put them back on the tape roll, but now they have a purpose. Use these strips of tape. So we'll use this one. And I have this other one, which was bigger than I wanted, but it's actually a great thing because now I can divide it into smaller pieces. Okay. Now, this can sit up here with the rest of my stuff. And the first thing I'm going to do is clean up these lines that I didn't mean to transfer. I think my kneaded eraser will be best for that. All right. Nice and cleaned up. I've got so much stuff out for this project today. My desk is covered in stuff and I don't have anywhere to put anything.
It looks relatively clean when I look at the camera because this is all you can see, but to the sides there's stuff everywhere. I'm gonna put some of it away to clear out some space.
Got my blue mechanical colored pencil. I'm going to use this to sketch. Let's look up some Christmas bows. So I have an idea in my head, but there might be some cute ideas that I haven't thought of. Yeah, I was kind of imagining, oh goodness, this kind with gilded edges. Six ways to make those big fancy bows. A lot of these have 4 loops, but I was just thinking 2, since there's not much room in here. You're gonna have to be actually pretty small. So I'll search small. Christmas bow ribbon small. I guess I want it to be on package. Not finding what I want. Maybe I just gotta tie it myself. Tie one myself. Get an idea. feel like this one I saw. Let's do 2-color. Had 2 different colored ribbons. Oh, that's a cute idea. Look at this one. Has a little charm. Oh, it doesn't want to focus for you. Oh, there we go. Has a little charm on it instead of just the regular ribbon in the middle. That's such a great idea. See, that's why I look it up instead of just using my imagination every time. Double colored ribbon. Double colored bow. I'm gonna put simple. Some of these are really crazy. It's like 8 loops coming out all over the place. One-minute bow. I kind of like this one. It's using some sort of velvet fabric. And it's got 4 loops, but it's taking up a small enough amount of space that maybe I could fit it in this little tiny corner. Here's another example with some charms or something in the middle. I think that's a great idea. Chappie snoring in her sleep a little bit. I mean, you don't really snore except in your sleep, but... Well, this is a nice one. Wow. But it's got to be really simple because this space is so small. And maybe I should just stick with something like this. Really super simple. Straightforward. These ones are cute. Started looking up hair bows, since I noticed a lot of them had more what I'm looking for, which is just straight, coming straight across instead of having two things this way and then two things down this way. I want more of a line. Those ones aren't really fabric-y, soft ribbons, though. They're definitely some sort of firm material. Not a problem. I could do that. It's just different from what I was imagining. But it might be best to fit in this space to do something like that. Then again, those were really complex with so many different layers, and again, this is so small. I think I'm just gonna have to do a very simple kind of ribbon. Alright, I've looked enough. Let's try sketching something. Let's try sketching some sort of bow shape. I do like that idea I gleaned, though, of putting some sort of gem or a little bell or something in the middle. That's such a great idea. Realize it looks much better if I have the ribbon coming in to the size that the knot in the middle is. No, I'm not gonna make it that big because I don't want it to get cut off right at the edge. That's called creating a tangent. When you have stuff meeting perfectly at edges or at tips of things. You can use it to your advantage if you want to bring attention to that area, like I'm going to do it right here with Aoife's nose with the snowflake. But we don't need extra attention at the bow. The bow is just a decoration, it's a framing element. It's helping make it seem more holiday-like. So the greeting card is like a gift in and of itself, so having the bows on there kind of enforces that idea. Or not enforces, but suggests it. So we'll keep it smaller like this. And we definitely want to make it bigger than it actually, make the end ribbons come out farther than it actually needs to. Okay, there's one. Let's draw the other one. Just like with the cookies, I want to draw these each by hand instead of just copying it when I make this digital and replicating one. Draw each one individually because I hate it when you can tell that someone just copy pasted another iteration of something. So I can't control if other people do that. I can control if I do that, and I'm going to try not to do that. Sometimes I do copy paste something if it's just really small or if it's like a pattern or something. But this is a fairly big element. I'm not going to do it here. I see this middle part is kind of wonky. That's why this is bothering me. Let's fix that. Okay, I think those are good. So to facilitate tracing them onto the watercolor paper, I
I am going to go over them with a really big fine liner pen. So that I can see them through the thick watercolor paper. With only 5-ish minutes left, I think I'm going to trace these onto the watercolor paper rather than starting to draw the puppy cookies, because I'll have to stop in the middle of that, and I don't like doing that. So I'll draw the puppy cookies tomorrow. Today I shall, if I can find another sheet of watercolor. There's only big ones. Only I have small ones. Did I use up everything on these other sheets? I think I did. Yeah. Pretty much used it all up. I don't think I can fit. Okay. Well, we're just gonna have to get another. Whew. Sorry, Eva. Slipped on Eva's foot a little bit. Get another big sheet. Get my light pad to trace. Gotta turn off all the lights and close my curtains so that the tracing will work. Boom! I'm going to take this sheet out of my sketchbook. That's the whole reason why I always get perforated pages for my sketchbook. For stuff like this, or to be able to scan it, to digitize it easily, stuff like that. Excellent. I can see that really nicely. Okay. And I want to trace it with graphite. So I've got my graphite pencil, graphite mechanical pencil. What is this? Okay. Couldn't quite tell what I was looking at. Figured it out. First one, I was going to say sketched. First one traced. We're going to do the second one. So how do I want to fit it? Maybe like this. They're done. Just 1 minute past stream time. So, I'll just leave everything right where it is. So we've got one more day of work on this project this week. But that is it for today's live stream. So, oh, what am I trying to say? I worked so hard today, my brain is empty. Okay. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you, Just Freebird, for the raid and for everybody who chatted with me and gave me a follow. Thank you for everything that you do to support Studio Mikarts. If you're new to my channel and want to see more, please follow here on Twitch. I say Twitch because if you're watching YouTube, come see me on Twitch to get notified next time I go live. You can also support me by becoming a Twitch subscriber to get ad-free viewing and cute emotes, joining my Patreon for lovely illustrations in the mail, or sending some creative fuel through Buy Me a Coffee. All the links are in my Twitch About section. I'll be streaming again tomorrow, working on this same project, so I hope to see you then. Either way, let me wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you for watching!